much fun. It just shows you how fun we all are when we're together.
Yes, agreed. The next 48 hours will be truly epic and so fun and amazing.
All right, so up next, we have someone that is dying to come and say hello and welcome you all. It's our founder and CEO, Manish Chandra.
Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Welcome to Nashville. What an incredible place to be here together. It's a city that is very, very special. Who's enjoyed some music here? It's a city that's not just about music, it's about entertainment, but it's also really about embracing your uniqueness. There's so many different musical styles, so many different things that are happening that come together as we think about Nashville. It's a great city, and it's a great city for our 10th in-person PoshFest. So welcome. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Without much further ado, I thought we should talk a little bit about the theme of this conference. So we might be having some AV things here. The theme this year is really about connection. It's really about connecting together. It's about coming together. It's about sharing your stories, sharing what you've learned, and of course, learning from each other. Let me ask you, how many people this is their first PoshFest? Raise your hand. Welcome. And for how many people it's their 10th PoshFest? They've come here every time. Welcome again, and welcome to everyone else. It's great. I see many people who were there in 2013 when we hosted this conference for the first time in Las Vegas. And I met so many of you last night as we went through several of the Posh Connects who are here for the first time. So it's great. Whether you're here for the first time or here for the 10th time, there's something new to do. And if anything, there's always new people to connect with that you can learn from. For me, I learned the best from all of you. So as we think about connections, as we think about each of these pieces, one of the things that I wanted to do was to really allow and enable you to share your journeys as entrepreneurs. And when we think about sharing your journeys as entrepreneurs, really the key for all of you is you've taken it for a variety of reasons. Some of you have taken it out of losing a job and starting a business. For some of you, it's a source of joy. It's something that gives you something new and fun to do. For some, it's about taking care of a loved one or somebody sick. And then you come together with each other. So in the spirit of that, I thought I will take a minute to share my own entrepreneurial journey. And so what I thought I would do is share a little bit about how it all started. I grew up in small towns in India. And I was lucky enough to be born in a family that valued education. Both my father and mother had master's degrees, and my mom in particular really focused us to study and focus on education early on. One of the interesting facts is that I was born and delivered by a doctor who was actually American, who was doing a residency and a program in India. So it was funny that, 18, 20 years later, I landed up in America. I got amazing education through the system, but also my mom in the early days allowed us to kind of experience some freedom. So she would send us to our grandparents' house. So I spent every summer and winter in our grandparents' house. And in that house, I learned a lot of things which is about self-sufficiency and independence. But one of the things that my grandfather used to do was he would take me out to the markets. He would take me out to the bazaars. And what I saw there was people interacting with each other, people bargaining. And those were safe days. I'm talking in the 70s. And we would be allowed to roam in this market with thousands of people. So we just go around, talk, and see everything. And one of the things I saw was real liveliness in human interaction. And as I, started to sort of do my journey here, first company I started was around collaborative shopping. It was sort of a Pinterest. People were collaborating around it. But that gave me some insight and really starting to think forward. The thing I loved is that the thing that shopping, particularly online shopping, is missing is this sense of community. And that community was very hard to get if you don't intentionally build it into the platform. So we coined this term social shopping, and we really wanted to bring it to the forefront. And the second thing is when you think of fashion, fashion is inherently social. You talk to each other, you're getting connections, you're getting information. And a lot of the stuff that was happening in online shopping, particularly 10, 12 years back, is you do some comparison shopping, you look at stuff, and you make a decision. There was not this interactivity that was missing. And so how do you do that? How do you sort of bring it all together? That was sort of around the fashion. But then when you start to think about that interaction and the process, the first thing that I always think about is how do you build your own team? How do you build your own community? And so to that end, I was growing up in Silicon Valley. I had already had a company that was somewhat successful. And so I had connections in the technology and product thing. I had my co-founders from my previous company, Chetan and Gautam. So I brought them into the fold. But the one thing I was really missing is true fashion DNA in the company, somebody who understood fashion at the very core. And so I actually went on a founder dating spree. I said, let me meet a lot of people who actually grew up in the fashion space. I met a lot of different folks, but ultimately, one of our investors, who became our future investor, connected me to Tracy. And Tracy and I just had an instant connection. We met at a cafe, and we just sort of felt this is the right thing for both of us to do. She was looking for someone with deep technology background, and for me, I was looking for someone who came from fashion background, but also had a lot of appreciation for technology. So we decided to do this journey together. And as we sort of went along, the fifth person who joined us as our first employee along the journey is Leanne, and she brought in the community DNA. So with that team, we were then ready to take on the ambitious task of creating Poshmark. What inspired Poshmark's creation was both the previous journey, looking at our closet, which was full of unopened bags at that time, but then also the arrival of new technology in the form of iPhone 4. When I looked at all of these pieces, the idea of Poshmark really came together and became real. And that's how we started the journey. Now, along the journey, we made several bets. And this is something really important. And it goes back to thinking about how you bet and how you focus. We talk about embracing your weirdness as a core value of Poshmark, and it's really all about focus. So what we said was we're going to only create an iPhone application. Initially, we said it won't even have any kind of core discovery besides social discovery. You had to connect with people in order to actually shop on Poshmark, and all of the interactions would be public, so you could actually interact in public. Apart from that, we would simplify everything, so you don't have to do anything. I mean, our vision was this 18-year-old girl in her dorm trying to sell a dress. She doesn't want to be a seller. She doesn't want to get payment processing approved. She doesn't want to source inventory. How do we make it simple and fun for her? So that was sort of the narrow focus with which we started. And what that meant was actually not doing a lot of things. We didn't have a website. We didn't have multiple apps. We focused on this one journey. And that's sort of something, if you think about, when you are trying to focus, it's the hardest thing to do because you see so many possibilities. But focus is what creates value because in that focus lies eternity. In that focus lies the germ of everything. If you think of Google, Google came out with this little search box, and that was the entire product. And that allowed them to become the biggest technology and product company and internet company. So that was sort of our focus. And that bet ended up turning out to be a great bet because at that time, investors didn't think that people would buy on the mobile phone. People didn't think they would sell properly on the mobile phone. People thought they needed a whole web form factor. We made all of those bets together, and that allowed us to really come out with a product that made sense, that captured the imagination, and allowed us to sort of get that initial spurt. But along the way, there were significant challenges because we were challenging the very roots of the system that was there. We were challenging how products are shipped. We said everyone, we didn't want a girl to wake up in the morning and say, oh, how heavy are these boots? How heavy is this bag? How do I ship it? Do I go to the post office? Do I put a weighing scale? I mean, you don't want to be selling a wedding dress and putting it on a scale. So we wanted to simplify that process. So we created PoshPost, but at that time it didn't exist. So what happened was we created a layer on top of USPS's APIs, which is their ability to access their systems, and bet on the fact that this simple shipping system ultimately will be something that USPS will partner with us. Well, they did understand in the early days, so they even sent postal inspectors to challenge us, potentially arrest. They said, we sent our marketplace operations had to meet them. No, we want to meet the CEO because that's the one who's making all these problems. But those problems became the seeds of opportunities, and we were able to connect with USPS, and they've become huge partners for us and we for them. And we created in 2014 PoshPost, which is the system you see today, which allows you to ship 5 pounds with a single shipping label without having to worry about anything, and everything goes super fast. And super fast was critical because what is fashion? We spend eternity trying to make up our mind what we want to buy, but once we buy, we want to wear it that Friday, right? That's why we want to use priority post. The second thing we wanted to do was when a girl and a person is setting out of their closet, there's this sense of, I'm sending something and I want to really not be judged on my closet because I'm already so nervous that is somebody going to like my closet? Is somebody like my clothes? And if you guys can all remember when you started your journey with Poshmark and you put that first item, you're like, is anybody even going to buy this thing? So we started the platform with no ratings. And even today, the ratings you have are actually private. And part of it was out of a sense of respect and love. Because we were taking care of the transaction, we wanted to make sure we are doing all of that to buffer the person. And that was to mobilize everyday people to come and sell on Poshmark, not just the professional sellers, and start that journey. So there were many bets we made along the way. Many of them challenged us, but we never sort of waffled. We never wavered from our journey and continued to take many bullets along the way in order to scale the business and take it to the next level. And that is, I think, an important part of the problem is that the journey goes through its ups and downs. There are many things you have to be flexible around, but then there are the core values that you don't want to give up. And those core values really define who you are. And if you shift them, they have to be meaningful reasons why you want to shift them. But at the same time, if you're constantly swaying to the current trends and not able to look into the future, I think the future always becomes much smaller than being very focused and where you want to take it. So if you look at this journey, it starts with a team. You can't do anything without the team. The team could be your family. The team could be the people you recruit initially. It could be your spouse. It could be your kids. And I was lucky to have team at home with my wife and my kids and my family, team at work with these amazing people who started the journey, and then some amazing investors who supported us through the thing, including Mayfield and Menlo, who joined us very early in the journey. So all of that took us into the future. But then we faced some really incredible challenges going into 2019 and 2020. COVID came, and right before COVID, we've had the biggest PoshFest ever in Phoenix. We were about to launch 100 physical Posh events. And we had to cancel all of that because COVID just shut us down. And so I'm really happy, by the way, to see the scale of the event and for all of you to be here at the scale and the presence. Give yourself a big hand. It's amazing that after 5 years, we're back to where we were in Phoenix and really even bigger and more vibrant in many ways. But all of those challenges gave us more courage and more innovation to start. And we took the company to the next level, and that became sort of where we are. When you think about what we have done in this whole process is we've really created a powerful community that sustained itself through the pandemic. Many of you have supported each other. I was hearing the story of Lynn, who's here, by the way. Hi, Lynn. And many of you supported Lynn through the ups and downs that she went through as a cancer survivor and an accident survivor. So thank you all for supporting Lynn. And Lynn, thank you for being part of this community and always serving this community. We have people who've raised money through Posh shows and given that to women who are being abused, women who want to escape difficult relationships. And we have so many stories of you guys coming together as a community. And that's something that, at least to me, I wake up every day and get super inspired that this is what I want to do. This is the people we want to serve. And for you, that is really something that makes this very special. It's not only a platform that you're buying and selling, but it's a platform that every day you're supporting other sellers and other folks beyond anything else. When we think about growing together, when we think about really scaling, we are talking about the scale of this community. Whatever you are doing is really helping you grow, but you don't grow if all of the people around you don't grow. And that's very built into Poshmark. If you think about it, when you're selling, you're not selling for yourself. You're promoting other sellers. Even in a show, you're not just selling your own stuff, you're curating other people's stuff. People are encouraging each other, you're supporting each other. That's very unique. And I hope we never lose that as a platform and as a community, is always focused in helping each other so that your journey is not a solo journey, it's a journey of togetherness and community. Let's talk a little bit about some of the data. We have grown to 130 million people who've registered with the platform today. That is really a crazy number. And these are 130 million entrepreneurs, parents, students, teachers, doctors. All kinds of community is involved in Poshmark today. And almost everyone is probably represented in people around you. So take a minute to say hello. Find a new person, talk to them. You'll learn something new. You'll learn something powerful about Poshmark and about their story. Wow. We announced a little bit earlier that all of you cumulatively have earned over $7 billion. We know those $7 billion probably involve 70 billion shares. They involve taking billions of photos. They involve answering billions of customer questions. You know, what is the size? When you've written the size there, we know that, right? It involves answering and dealing with a lot of different things and then shipping millions and millions and millions of packages. So thank you, but together we can take it 10x bigger, right? And we always have this next phase of growth that we are going to do together. So this is just the beginning of an amazing journey that we are taking together as a community. But the most powerful thing is you haven't lost your physical connection. Last night, I think there were over a dozen events being hosted. Some were small, some were big, but you showed up. You were connecting. And Leanne and I think, went to probably like at least 7 or 8 of the different events and met so many of you. That level of community, whether it's a Poshmark-hosted event like PoshFest or a community-hosted event or you meeting up, that's what defines the Poshmark community. So it's really amazing to see thousands of events that we've hosted since the beginning and many, many more to come, especially with live selling now so much part of your day-to-day lives. Well, we are in Nashville. And when we are in Nashville, we need to talk about Nashville stuff, right? How many people are wearing cowboy boots here? Awesome. Well, let me just give you a little bit of a stat when we talk about the environmental impact, the sustainability. Each of you, through your actions, is impacting sustainability at a deep level. When you think of a single pair of jeans consumes over 1,000 gallons of water. Cumulatively, you have recirculated over 15 million jeans. When you think about the impact, that's 15 billion gallons of water that was not consumed to produce 15 million jeans that we are all wearing that you bought from each other. We have similarly taken 300,000 cowboy boots on Poshmark and circulated them. That's enough to outfit 1 out of 2 people who reside in Nashville today. So let's make it 1 out of 1. Let's make sure they can all get a cowboy boot together. Well, selling, that's what we all do. That's why you're here. We, of course, buy, but to justify buying, we have to sell. So let's sell together. Let's think about what are the things we've been doing around selling and around the selling tooling. So we've really delivered a lot of things over the last year. You're going to hear a lot more about it tomorrow as we get our technical team and our product team to be here. But I thought I'll highlight a few things. We've launched gift cards. We've launched sale notification sound, which seems trivial, but I know it was a very requested feature. We've made shipping discounts optional and offer to likers. We've updated Posh Show's auction times. We've got Posh Lens in Canada, shipping QR codes in Canada, and many, many more things that we've delivered. So we continue to enhance the product based on your feedback, based on innovation, based on industry trends, and continue to hopefully delight you as we scale the platform as a selling platform. There's two big things that we've launched in the last year. First is Promoted Closet. Who's tried Promoted Closet today? Well, Promoted Closet is a paid marketing tool. It allows you to really have your closet be shown in top of search results in many other pieces, and allows you to sort of engage with the community in a more systematic, methodical way. It's become industry standard. It's something that we offered. We tried to make it as simple as possible. So we've made it so you just have to promote the whole closet, and the whole closet kind of gets shown appropriately. And what we've seen is that over the course of last year, as we tested and rolled it out just a couple of months back, more than people who use Promoted Closets get more than 80% boost in their clicks and 43% more sales, effectively before and after, as we've sort of measured it. So it's a powerful tool, and I encourage more people to try it out. Again, it depends upon whether it fits your need or not. It's in a slew of different marketing tools we have, including sharing, offers, customer relationship management, but it is something that is very powerful, and it's something that people who are using are seeing considerable benefit. The second thing that we just launched in June is Posh Party Live, and that really brings Posh Shows and Posh Party together, where you can actually host shared shows, curate items, you can share your listings as you were, but also you can host shows within a party and curate items within a party. We've also introduced, and we are testing out, a selling feature which allows you to share your items directly into a party and into multiple shows at the same time rather than going to a specific show. So this takes the community selling power of Posh Shows and community selling power of Poshmark to a whole new level. Just to give you a sense, as we've been rolling out Posh Party Live, 1 in 3 items that are sold in a Posh Party Live are not from the host, they're actually from other people's closets. Well, we continue to listen to your feedback, and we will be launching Posh Show host-sponsored giveaways. These are things that we've been asking for a long time, so you can now finally do that. There's designed for our incredible hosts. It's a new way for you to attract followers, grow your following, engage with your audience in multiple ways. And we're so excited to see how you're going to use it. And obviously, we always look to community to innovate, take us forward, and then you'll see us innovating on this feature as well beyond what we are launching initially. Well, I'm super excited about this feature. When we think about 10 years back, we started with mobile phone as really defining the future. Well, today, we are in the midst of an AI-driven revolution. Who's excited about AI? Who's scared? Well, I have to tell you a little story. I was in a place called Pompeii a few weeks back. And how many people have heard of Pompeii? It's an ancient city in Italy. And the whole city, 2,000 years back, was buried under volcanic ash. And about 100 years back, they found it, they unearthed it, and you can see the entire city there, right? Now, when you see a whole city, you see how people lived 2,000 years back. And many years back, I got a chance to visit Egypt, which is 5,000, 6,000-year-old civilization. Well, in that city, people were still taking selfies. There's pictures of men and women there that are preserved from 2,000 years back. There's restaurants where people have painted things like a McDonald's, like this is what you're going to eat, you order. There is people with multiple bedrooms and huge homes, 12,000 square foot home, 4-acre homes out there. So when you think about human race in so many ways is as stupid today as it was 2,000 years back and 5,000 years back. And AI ain't fixing it. So we have very, very amazing hope for our future that AI can become smart, but it can take over our stupidity. We will win because we are weird and we are special, right? So with that hopeful message, let's turn our attention to how AI can help us. AI is something that we want to imbue throughout our product. We want to make it a very powerful thing so it can save you time, it can save you effort, and it can make you much, much more effective. And so Smart List AI is our first major product that we are in the process of developing, perfecting, because models have to be trained and worked through, but it's available. And in fact, it's available to all of you. If you go to our Smart List AI station, they will activate you. And what you will see is a powerful tool, which the team has taken a lot of work, and they continue to iterate, that allows you to quickly turn your items into listings. And it is continuing to get refined, so it is in a process of evolution. But even after we launch it, it's something that's going to continuously learn and become very powerful. So we're excited to get your feedback. We are excited to try you. But if that's not enough, we've partnered with Rothy's. Who's heard of Rothy's? And everyone who tries Smart List AI will get a free pair of Rothy's. So very exciting. It's an amazing thing, and I would say it's the beginning of transformation of Poshmark from a mobile selling platform to an AI-driven selling platform. And I think what you will see is so many things that we want to do that we will do in partnership with you, transforming us from where we were to where we should be as we look into the future. And of course, transformations are never easy. I started doing yoga earlier this year, and I couldn't bend. And now I can actually touch my feet. So try to sort of bear with the patience. It took 7, 8 months to kind of get that flexibility, so it's going to take some time here. The next thing is, how do we get people who are still not selling on Poshmark? And so we thought about it, and we said, well, the way we do that is by connecting these people to all of you, but do it in a much more structured fashion, do it in a much simpler way. So we've been testing out a consignment service. And right now it's in just a couple of areas. And the idea is very simple. The idea is that when you want to consign something, so say I want to consign something, I want to sell something, but I don't want to sell it directly, you just press a button and a bag ships to you. You fill the bag with whatever you want. And it's a nice, big, zippered bag. And you can see it. I think there might be some place you can see it. Once the bag is filled, you just press a button in your app, and somebody will pick it up from your doorstep. And they pick it up from your doorstep. They take it to one of the sellers who signed up to be a PCP, a closet partner. And they sell for you, and then you split the proceeds. But unlike any other platform, this is still a very social architecture. So the closet, when you list the items, they're listed under the seller's closet, but they're also listed under the consignor's closet. So you will see Jenny is selling on behalf of Manish. And so that allows the co-branding to happen. It also allows, when you're shopping the closet, to see that this is from Manish, this is from somebody else, this is from someone else. And it allows people to participate in different ways and different ways to grow. So we hope this unlocks another 20 million closets that are all on Poshmark. So it's very exciting. If you're interested, I'm sure there's places that you can learn more about it. And we'll soon be announcing the first set of geographies that we are going to be testing it out. The early tests have been very powerful. I remember I was traveling and I've consigned a bag. I got my sale through the bag. I was like so excited. I said, this is what my sellers feel every day. It's like you're there. And then, of course, I went and promptly bought something and overspent that money already. The thing that we forget in all of these things is the people who are putting so much effort in putting this show together and who sort of tirelessly work every day. And I wanted to just take a minute to show gratitude and thank my team here. And so let's give them a big hand. They've been here, amazing team. And every one of them is working in the forefront, in the background. Some you see, some you don't. Some people are working day and night to make sure that the product is robust, that everything works, that they prevent fraud, they prevent operations, they make sure all the servers are working, they make sure it's a lot of different pieces that takes a complex marketplace to run. So I'm really grateful for them and really grateful for all of them who are here serving you. So please go say a hi to them. If you want to give them some tough feedback, it's fine, but then give them a hug too, please. I also, before I go here, I also wanted to make sure I give a big thanks to our sponsors. it costs a lot of effort, but it also costs a lot of money to put this show together. And obviously, you guys contribute to putting it together. We contribute to Poshmark, but we also want to thank the sponsors who also contribute to making this conference really amazing and really powerful. So let's give them a big hand as well, and please go say hi to them. So as I end this conversation, and we'll open it up for questions soon, I thought, given I'm sharing my genesis, and I grew up in India, so I thought I'll go back to someone, especially in this time where we are sort of so thinking about different things, the country is so much polarized. I thought I'll go back to a man who was actually led the country. He was the president of the country at one point in time, but he was also a scientist. And his quote, which is Mr. Kalam's quote here, is that the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. And in many ways, I wish for each of you to believe in the beauty of your dreams and have the dreams and succeed through that belief, through that power. I wanted to conclude by giving you sort of just a brief summary of how I think about the world and how I sort of think about the principles that have guided me throughout my life as an entrepreneurial journey. I think the first and the foundational principle to me is how you make decisions, how you look at the world. And it's interesting, we partner with a woman, Jenna Abdu, who is very young, but sort of a spiritual guru to me personally. She sends me these amazing things. She sent me something as I was walking up on the stage and thinking about many things. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is something fairly significant. And I've been thinking, as you think about something fairly significant as a change to the platform, you think about it, and then you go into some cycles of fear, right? And quite often when we are making decisions, we are thinking about two emotions. Most often fear, and sometimes greed. Fear is a sense that, what if I make this decision, lose everything I have? And greed is, how can I squeeze more out of this thing, right? But really, if you remove those emotions and move to the center point of love and think about what's the right thing to do, you will always come to the right conclusion. So with that, I want to promise you something. We've gotten a lot of feedback around our fee structure, and we've had the same fee structure for the last 12 years. And we've listened to that feedback. We're working on something, and we'll hopefully soon be able to announce some changes in a very positive way for all of you. And that is a decision that has caused me a lot of fear, a lot of greed, but I'm going to get to the point of love and make some good decisions here and get there. So that was a really good quote from Jenna that arrived this morning. So that's one powerful thing. I think the second thing is, when